Hi, hello everyone. As we have seen in the last video, I have told you that I will be discussing more about identity attribute and account attribute and what is the difference between those two, right? So in ISC, I'm not SailPoint Identity Secure Cloud, the concepts of identity attribute and account attribute are closely related, but they serve different purposes in the identity governance and lifecycle process. So let's see what are the differences between these two. Before that, let's see what is an identity attribute. So by definition, if you see, it is a property or characteristics of an identity object within SailPoint. So in SailPoint, everything is considered as an object. So identity is one main thing where everything revolves around that. So identity is one attribute, and obviously, when the identity is created, accounts will be created for the same identity. So that is one attribute, one object, right? So this attributes, which are identity attributes, will hold the information of the identity. Suppose the out of the box attributes, if you see, they will be storing the name, email ID, department, manager, title, or location in SailPoint, right? So those attributes are called identity attributes, and all these values will be stored in identity cube. Okay, so for these attributes, where will we get the values from? Right? So these values will come to these identity attributes when we aggregate. Okay, identity attributes are usually aggregated from authoritative sources like HR systems, which is HRMS, AD, something like that. So where do we use these values? These are used in identity policies, access rules, identity lifecycle events such as joiner, mover, leaver, and also for access reviews, certification, entitlement decisions, correlation rules, etc. So these identity attribute values are used in these examples. And how do you fetch the data? By using this snippet like identity.first name, identity.department, identity.email, whatever is the attribute name, identity.attribute name. Whereas account attribute refers to a property of an individual account in a connected application. So again, what is connected application? What is disconnected application? So connected application is something like you can give the example of a connected application like AD. AD is considered as connected application. Why? Because it has a direct integration with the SailPoint. So what it does, the connected applications allow for automated provisioning and deprovisioning of user entitlements and accounts. Whereas a disconnect application lacks direct integration and relies on manual process or any other method for provisioning and deprovisioning. Okay, so because there is direct connectivity, SailPoint can directly interact with the applications to manage users with the connected applications, right? That is one advantage of having connected application. And uh, from where the values or the data comes into the account attribute. So they will be directly pulling the data from the connected sources during aggregation. Unlike identity attributes also get this data from the during the aggregation itself. So where these values are used, these are used during account correlation. These are used in defining entitlements and account properties, and these can be mapped to identity attributes via identity profile mappings. So here, how will you fetch the data? There in identity attributes, we use identity dot attribute name, whereas here we use account dot attribute name. So all these are the basic attributes from AD. So SAM account, employee type, mail nickname. So all these attribute values will be fetched using account dot attribute name. So if you want to compare between these two, so identity attribute belongs to identity object, whereas attribute belongs to account object. Okay, and Identity attribute gets its values from authoritative sources and mapped accounts, whereas account attribute gets its data from connected applications. And the scope of these attributes is we can use these attributes globally across user identity, but whereas account attribute is specific to each account. And these attributes are used in policies, lifecycle, and certifications, whereas account attributes are used in correlation and entitlements. And you will fetch the identity attributes from identity.department and account attributes from account.department. Okay, that's the variation. And now you can see how they work together. What are those? Identity attribute and account attribute. So during aggregation and identity correlation, these account attributes are pulled from connected systems. They are used to match accounts to identities via correlation rules, and identity attributes are then populated or updated into the identity cube. So in identity profiles, you can define how account attributes map to identity attributes. Example, mapping AD's mail to the identity's email, like that. Okay, so that's the main difference between this account attribute and identity attribute. Hope you got that concept. And if you want to know more about any topic, please let me know in the comment section. I will try to explain you more on that. Thank you. Have a good day.